violence.
Tonight, this story.
The troubled leader of grunge music takes his own life.
Plus,
Hazardous chemicals you may not know about in your cigarettes.
now, Connecticut News 30, 11 at 11.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gerry Brooks. Joanna's off tonight. Our top story developing right now. Police are looking for suspects in the shooting of a Middlebury woman on a New Haven street tonight. It happened around 7 o'clock outside a State Street package store. Police tell Connecticut News the shooting is a random act of violence. The gunshots seem to come out of nowhere. 26-year-old Maura O'Shea is just out of emergency surgery at Yale New Haven Hospital. She is in fair condition. That's the kind of incident that has Hartford police worried tonight. They're bracing for more violence as the warmer weather brings more people outdoors. A year ago this time, gang activity was about to explode in Hartford. Gunfire erupted, people died, the drug war in full swing. Will there be a repeat? Tom Monahan in Hartford tonight with a live report. Tom.
Thank you very much, Jerry. You know, for the record, Hartford police will say they hope the spring and summer months will be quiet ones as far as any gang activity is concerned this year. But privately, many officers tell us that may not be the case.
10 to 41, the parties that are with this van are from that east side.
Yeah, those are those guys. I'm telling you. These are the guys that are shooting.
A typical night in Hartford. 2 young men charged with stealing a van. Reports of gunfire in this Hartford project. And an arrest of a 15-year-old boy on drug charges.
You were thinking about it. I would have got away. You think so? I'm no sure. Well, no, you're not. You're under arrest.
Police say he's probably a gang member. Police confiscated 19 bags of crack cocaine. They have a street value of about $200. They also found a beeper. The suspect was taken to the juvenile detention center. And this is a classic example of what you're dealing with.
Classic. Yep. Kid in the project, underage, dealing narcotics. It's a classic example. Yes, it is.
The police officers making this bust are part of Operation Victory, a special division of the Hartford Police Department. 30 officers will be out all summer long in neighborhoods where drugs and gangs are prevalent. And getting the cooperation of people who live in the projects is not always easy.
In some of the projects, Stowe Village, for instance, it's not uncommon to have rocks and bottles thrown at you while you're out there and you're helping the people that live there.
Earlier today, police responded to a tip that hand grenades and automatic weapons were inside the headquarters of Los Salitos, located on Park Street in Hartford. Police raided the headquarters, but found only a Saturday night special, along with some ammunition. But that gives you a good idea of what police are worried about this summer, and that's our bottom line for tonight. Number one, police are worried about a major drug war this summer, a drug war that would include lots of firepower, a deadly combination that could wind up making Hartford a very violent place this summer. Jerry, back to you.
Hey, Tom, Officer Schwartz referred to having rocks and bottles thrown at them. Are they fearful for their own lives?
Jerry, no question about it. We were with them for about an hour and a half, 2 hours tonight, both officers, really. And they didn't have to say a darn thing about it. They're very much concerned about what could go on. We were concerned for our own safety because you never know what's going to happen out there. They deal with it every night, and yes, you're right. They're very worried about it. They say things are bad and only getting worse.
Tom Monahan live outside of the Hartford PD. Thank you. Connecticut's plan to get guns off the street may finally be coming to an end. Sources tell Connecticut News tonight a huge donation to the Guns for Goods program will be announced Monday. As you know, the program fell far short of donations needed to fulfill the promise that anyone who turned in a gun would get gift certificates in return. State Representative Antonio Fusco suggests that funds from the annual state police auction of confiscated firearms could be used. Get them while they're young. That's the attitude of Hartford Mayor Mike Peters. It's what he's taking toward the city's youth. Peters meeting with students at the Burr School today, urging them to be positive forces on the future of the city. The mayor told the kids, don't get into trouble, don't join gangs. Well, if you're one of the thousands of investors who lost money on Colonial Realty, finally some good news tonight. As we reported exclusively at 6, several of the companies being sued by the investors have decided to settle. They say it's just too expensive to keep on fighting. They are the Bank of New York, the Farmington law firm of Tarlow Levy, and the Coffin Company. The settlement will approach $10 million tonight. Cautious optimism from some Colonial investors.
It's a good thing, but again, depending on how much we get back, we'll tell you how much I'll smile. Well, it's about time. You know, it's a long way, and you know, there's a lot of people that put in their life savings in Colonial, and they had a lot of faith in that company. And I think they ruined the economy for the state of Connecticut.
No one's saying tonight how much money each of the investors will get out of this settlement or when they'll get it. One source tells us about 6 months sounds right. More news from around Connecticut tonight. A change of command at the Groton Naval Sub Base. Captain Leo Dominique takes over for Captain Michael Regal. Captain Dominique is the 42nd commanding officer of the base. A judge orders a New Haven man to stand trial for the murder of a 7-month-old girl. Danielle Taft died in a hail of gunfire that also left her grandmother paralyzed. 22-year-old Adam Carmen will be tried for her murder. A witness says she saw Carmen fire his gun into a window more than a dozen times last February. In Wethersfield, a wake for the supervisor murdered at Clinton Nurseries. The wake held tonight for Andrew Grella. He was gunned down at the nursery on Wednesday. Funeral services will be held tomorrow morning at St. Timothy's in West Hartford. 23-year-old Marco Gonzalez of New Haven is charged with the murder. He is being held on $1 million bond. The victims of the Holocaust remembered today in a solemn ceremony in the chambers of the state Senate. Among those in attendance, Connecticut residents who survived the Holocaust and their families. They heard students from the Ellington High School Theater Arts class.
Consider whether this is a man who labors in the mud, who knows no peace, who fights for a crust of bread.
This was Connecticut's 16th annual commemoration of the Holocaust. Also honored today those who went above and beyond in Vietnam. It was the annual POW MIA Recognition Day in the state capitol's Hall of Flags. In attendance, former prisoners of war and relatives of those still listed as missing in action. Kurt Cobain was a really unhappy person. So says a singer on the Seattle rock music scene tonight, reacting to the apparent suicide of the lead singer of the group Nirvana. The 27-year-old Cobain's body was discovered in a guest cottage at his Seattle home. He shot himself in the head. More now from NBC's Brian Williams.
Kurt Cobain's body was found inside a garage apartment adjacent to his Seattle home. Dead of an apparently self-inflicted shotgun wound, police say a suicide note was nearby. He was among the most powerful voices of his generation, an originator of a music style and fashion called grunge, as lead singer for the hugely successful rock group Nirvana, which has sold 15 million albums worldwide. Kurt Cobain's tenure as a living rock and roll icon was brief and troubled. Just last month, a combination of alcohol and drugs left him in a coma from which he fully recovered. Cobain and his wife, singer Courtney Love, appeared ready to resume life at home with their 2-year-old daughter.
I think to his generation, he's the closest they probably had to a John Lennon.
His look was emulated by millions. His work, one critic said, was influenced by the violence, the drugs, and the diminished opportunities of an entire generation. Brian Williams, NBC News.
The off-duty pilot responsible for that bizarre attack aboard a Federal Express cargo plane is charged tonight with assault. Auburn Calloway was taking a ride on this company plane out of Memphis. He used a hammer and a spear gun to viciously attack the flight crew. Somehow they managed to land. Tonight, Calloway and 2 of his victims remain hospitalized in serious condition. A published report says the 42-year-old Calloway was to face a disciplinary hearing for falsifying his credentials. 30 Teamsters arrested in Ohio as the nationwide strike continues tonight. Police charged them with disorderly conduct after they blocked a truck today. Union officials are meeting tonight to decide whether to return to the negotiating table. Some of the stories making news around the world tonight. Jesse Jackson caught up in the violence in the occupied territories. Jackson had just finished a speech urging peace when fighting broke out between Israeli soldiers and Palestinians. Jackson was hit with a dose of tear gas, then took cover in his bus as rocks and grenades flew by. Japan's version of Whitewater forces the resignation of Prime Minister Morihiro Hosokawa. He had taken office just 8 months ago, promising to clean up Japan's corrupt political system. Hosokawa quits amid questions about a $970,000 loan from a mob-linked executive. TV stations in France get together tonight to fight public prejudice and raise money for AIDS research. The country's 7 main channels holding a joint 3-hour broadcast. Actress Catherine Deneuve, singer Elton John among the stars making an appearance. The event raised $5 million. A spring reawakening in Rome today as the Sistine Chapel is officially reopened after years of restoration. Pope John Paul celebrated Mass to commemorate the restoration of Michelangelo's masterpieces to their original state. A masterpiece of a spring day in Connecticut today, but what about the weekend? Here's Brad with your first look at the forecast. Brad.
Okay, Jerry, tomorrow we're going to do very well. Tomorrow's going to be a partly sunny day with temperatures between 55 and 60. It'll be 55 to 60 on Sunday, too. But I'm afraid on Sunday there'll be quite a few showers around. As we go to the weather maps, we see high pressure to the south of New England. That'll give us some pretty good weather tomorrow, but there are some clouds nearby, so increasing clouds during the afternoon. This cold front will come and get us with some showers during the day on Sunday. When you get up tomorrow morning, bright sun, a cool start to the day tomorrow with temperatures in the 30s, but rebounding into the 50s, Jerry. Tomorrow looks great. Back to you.
All right, Brad, I know you're a huge Whaler fan, so stick around for this story. For all the problems the Hartford Whalers have had this season, tonight there's nothing but good news. And it's being made by the Whalers' wives. They hosted their first annual casino night at the Pavilion at State House Square. With some help from the folks at Foxwoods, they raised money for the Yukon Children's Cancer Fund. Over the past 12 years, with the Whalers' wives' waltz, the women behind the hockey players have raised more than $1.5 million for kids with cancer. Now for 11 at 11 Sports Highlights, Steve Savard in tonight. He joins us from the News Center. Steve, what's going on?
It's kind of a big golf tournament going on in Georgia. You won't see Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer on television this weekend, at least not on the course at Augusta. For the first time since Eisenhower was pres, neither one will be playing on Saturday or Sunday. Larry Mize made the cut, though. He leads the field through 36 holes. This is an out-of-sight approach on the 15th. Mize at 5 under par through 36. Lurking one shot back is the Shark, Greg Norman, in a group of three with Dan Forsman and Tom Lehman. They're all one shot back at -4. This is a great approach, setting up a birdie on 17. Coming up in sports, the Red Sox with another rally, Yankees and Tigers in the stadium, and the Celtics and Knicks, and you won't believe what the Knicks did tonight in Philadelphia. Jerry?
All right, you're not going to believe this next one, Steve. The boys were strutting their stuff tonight at Plainville High School, but here's the deal. The boys look like girls. It's the Mr. Plainville Fashion Show, and this is one show that had a fight to go on. A local resident protested to the regional YMCA, complaining that the show promotes cross-dressing. The Y canceled, but the school board rallied to the cause, saying, hey, this is fun, it's creative, and here's your winner, Shamar Baldwin. Very, very nice, boys. This was to raise money for the senior class trip when the boys will be boys and the girls will be girls. And that is 11 at 11, 11 uninterrupted minutes of news, weather, and sports, and there's still much more ahead tonight. Coming up, you might call him the hardest working man in showbiz. And if you've gone to the movies lately, chances are you've seen him. We'll introduce you. Also ahead, a new study about kids in Connecticut produces some disturbing findings. Find out what's being done about them. But first, straight ahead, hazardous substances in cigarettes. A report says chemicals not allowed in food are being added to your smokes. We're coming right back.
Connecticut News 30, honored again by the Associated Press.
For your chance to win great prizes, look for this WVIT Channel 30 Mega May contest card, coming soon in your cable bill.
It was a simpler time, basic and good. The food was simpler too, and more satisfying. That was the idea behind Friendly's hearty chicken pot pie. With home-style fillings baked under a golden flaky crust. It may be the best idea to come along in a long, long time, especially with our free cheesecake ice cream sundae. It's time to get friendly.
In a chemical plant, smoke could be seen for 12 miles away. Homes and offices near the area have been evacuated due to the poisonous gas and chemicals emitted. No word on the cause of that explosion.
A new target for thieves breaking into cars. Radios and tape decks are becoming passé. Airbags are now the in thing. In just a matter of minutes, a thief can lift out the box containing the steering well airbag. Chop shops pay up to $150 for them. These thefts are being reported in Los Angeles, St. Louis, New York, and several places in New Jersey. But stealing airbags is not without its hazards. If the bag inflated unexpectedly, experts say it would be like a heavyweight boxer hitting you right smack in the face.
When Action News continues, we've got good news and then we've got some bad news.
That's right. Jeff Fox will fill in the blanks for us with the weekend forecast in just a moment.
And a beauty pageant some said should never have been held. You be the judge. We'll have the story later.
The monthly payment of the 1994 Chevy Lumina is made to fit your family budget.
We sure could use a car this big.
Can we afford it?
Says here it's just $229 a month and only $1,650 down.
It's even got air, automatic, power locks.
No more being squashed by the baby seat.
Room for the stroller and the playpen.
We need the V6.
We need the stereo.
At $229 a month, it's time for a change.
Oh, right.
And speaking of something that needs changing.
See your local Chevy Geo dealer for a great deal on a 94 Lumina.
This Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., it's the biggest sale of the season at Filene's. 15 hours of sensational store-wide savings. The biggest sale of the season, this Saturday only at Filene's.
Monday on Action News, beginning at 5. Troublemakers. Your child may never be expelled from school, but you are paying for those who are. And does a manicure sound luxurious? We'll tell you why this ultimate treat could nail you. For these stories and more, turn to Action News 8 first.
Gas. When bloating, pain, and pressure tie you in knots, don't make the antacid mistake. Take this little pill instead. Maximum Strength Phazine. There's more gas relief in one Phazine soft gel than in a whole bottle of regular Maalox. All this Maalox can't get rid of gas, but with the liquid medicine in just one Phazine, the gas is gone. Take Phazine, and the gas is gone.
In the beginning, the Whiz was a dream. We had a small store and some big ideas, and a man whose principles were our inspiration. We always deal honestly with our customers. We guarantee the lowest prices and the highest quality. We demand perfection in our stores, of our salespeople, and our products. Integrity, customer satisfaction, excellence. It's why we can say nobody beats the Whiz.
WTNH Channel 8 Action News Entertainment Report brought to you by Nobody Beats the Whiz.
In tonight's entertainment report, the Jacksons